Today is March 4th, 2016, and today I want to talk to you about North Korea. It appears our good buddy Kim Jong Un has possibly lost his mind. Well, that's not something that is news, I suppose. He's always been a little bit crazy. But during this week on Wednesday, the Security Council applied some very aggressive sanctions against North Korea. Probably the most aggressive in the last 2 decades for sure. And they had the support of China, which they haven't always had. China's often not supported strong sanctions against North Korea because of the connection between the two countries with trade and things of that nature. So they haven't always been strong supporters of heavy sanctions. But just hours after the Security Council resolution passed, laying down these hard sanctions, North Korea fired several short-range projectiles into the sea. Just why not? In defense, in response to the extent of these sanctions, we're just going to fire off some missiles into the sea, just to let you know that we're going to do whatever the heck we want. Which has kind of been the MO of Kim Jong Un and the North Korean way, is to just do whatever the heck they want and be a complete wild card on the global front. The other part that's happened, and this just was reported as of yesterday and this morning, that Kim Jong Un has ordered that the nuclear weapons to be readied for use. So this was reported yesterday. This shift in military posture, it allows North Korea to carry out preemptive attacks if they so choose, and quote, deprive their enemies to sleep in peace till the moment they meet their final end in their land. Yikes. I know that it's hard for us to take him seriously because he says a lot of stuff and nothing ever comes of it. But the whole cry wolf thing, at some point though, we have to be concerned that the crazy little man decides that he's had enough of everybody thinking that he won't do it, and he just finally says, screw it. Starts pushing buttons. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, anybody who thinks it's not is completely clueless. Like, you never want to think about that. You don't want to live in the worst case scenario, but you have to at least entertain the idea that it could happen. And it's been reported, and it's factual, that they have missiles that have the capacity to travel 8,000 miles, which means the entire west coast of the U.S. mainland is in his sights. A number of his missiles that are the more short-range missiles that are nuclear, are set to be nuclear, are in perfect range for South Korea and Japan. Now, what's scary about that is that there are 28,500 American military personnel stationed in the South and 45,000 U.S. military personnel stationed in Japan. So that's a lot of soldiers that are in the direct line of sight of this nut job. Three U.S. generals in charge of the U.S. forces in Korea and the Pacific and North American Aerospace Defense Command testified last year that North Korea has the capability to hit the continental United States with a nuclear warhead. So it's not that this is something that people are making up, or it's fictitious, or it's he's the ravings of a lunatic or a madman. At some point you have to wonder when that madman says, you know what, enough's enough, I'm tired of being called a madman, I'm just going to start pushing buttons, and then we'll see how ready they are to defend. I think that is something that we have to watch. I mean, you have to wonder at some point, and in the same breath of what I just said, that if North Korea's leadership miscalculates the changes and the coming exercises that are being prepared in by the U.S. and Japan and South Korea, the exercises to be ready. If they miscalculate what those are and see them as preparations for an attack, that if North Korea feels that the U.S. and Japan and South Korea are preparing to preemptively attack North Korea and get rid of them, then North Korea might make that their play. They might preemptively attack. I mean, as you should all know, the United States annually does military exercises on the Korean Peninsula. This year, in March and April, starting right away, these they have new plans with South Korea that include a possible, and this is just possible, preemptive attacks and decapitation of the North Korean regime. So it's being floated around out there, and all it takes is for the North Korean, intelligence, we'll call it, quote unquote, to decide that they want to make the first move, even if there is no other move being made. They think there is. So they miscalculate that, and they decide they want to make the first move and start firing off missiles. Quite probably nuclear. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the proxy war situations all over in the Middle East, and Russia and the Ukraine, or pardon me, Russia and Turkey, battling it out over there, and a potential NATO versus Russia conflict floating around, and all that stuff that, and with Saudi Arabia, getting their troops ready. Nobody's made any moves yet, but the potential is all there because the pieces are all on the board now. But this little powder keg over here in North Korea is something that I don't think that many people pay attention to, because so much is happening in the Middle East, and so much is happening between Russia and Turkey and Saudi Arabia and the oil and everything that's going on over there. That little crazy North Korean dictator could upset the apple cart and just throw everything off kilter. If you haven't spent any time looking at what's happening in North Korea and what's been going on over the last 5 to 10 years, especially the last 5, I strongly urge you to spend some time doing some research. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. Or don't believe anybody else. Don't believe me. Don't believe anybody else. Just go and do your own research. Find out what you need to know. Make your own decision. And then let people know that this isn't just a joke. North Korea's capacity for destruction is real. And there's a crazy person at the helm. Eyes Open Network. Have a great day.